Hello, 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 Heart Tribe. How y'all doing? This is Adelai Bryan, your heart coach, and we are live because today is 9 years since we started Heart Talk. Woo, 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 woo,
Whoop,
woo.
whoop.
I could have had the thing they have in the Jamaican song. Ba, 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 ba,
Pop, pop,
ba,
pop, pop, pop.
yeah, yeah, yeah. God is so good. September the 1st, 2014. I remember that day like it was yesterday. My palms were sweaty all day at work. I knew when I got home I had to do this Bible study talk thing. I did not know what it was. I did not know I was heart coaching. I did not know that I was going to be helping people transform their lives, but more so transforming my own life from the inside out. And I'm just so thankful to have been on this journey for so long. And so today I brought a very proud, active, fully committed member of the Heart Tribe, one of our very own heart coaches, Miss Khama Woods, in the
Hey,
building. And so I just wanted to bring Khama on because Khama is definitely a big supporter of Heart Talk, the Heart Coach, and everything that we're on a mission to do with heart equity. And heart equity is a new term that you're hearing me say. It's a better understanding that God has given me about what we're doing with Heart Connections, what Addie BB LLC is all about. And heart equity is this whole idea of building personal, relational, and financial wealth through authentic living. And so today, Calm and I just wanted to get on. I just wanted to go live and just bring some of this energy and excitement that we have offline and just come back. I did a live earlier, but y'all might get another live later on. I don't know. I'm just really excited and just wanted to jump on with Karma. So what's up, Karma? How you doing?
what's up, Coach? Congratulations on 9 years. You told me nine is the number of new beginnings, so I'm proud of you. Growing up around you and always seeing you from me being a little girl, I always thought highly of you. Even before I fully knew you, you just always been a bright light. You always been beautiful. You always kept your kids looking nice. Just something that I look for as a woman. I just look up to that. No matter what the streets have ever said about the coach in life, you always been you always been consistent. You always have showed up and always have. I've always felt love around you from my youngest years being around you. So I appreciate you and I'm proud of you as the heart coach, building your business, helping the community from where we're from. You're live in the trenches, dealing with the ins and out, no matter what, despite anything. You haven't just dipped out on Charleston and said, forget Charleston. You still here, do events, still stand in the gap for the island. So I just salute you like 100% as a woman. You like the OG around here. So as a woman, I salute you and I'm proud of you, Coach. I definitely am. I definitely am.
Thank you so much, Karma. That means a lot because I know
Yeah.
that you are not somebody that's just gonna pull on the
No.
praises for no reason. So I really appreciate that. And it does mean a lot when you're doing work and people can see it, but not just see it, they can feel it. And so I find that very important. And that's a big part of why I do what I do because I know what it feels like to be in a crowd of people and feel like nobody can see you. Like I know what it feels like to be in a household with people who supposed to love you and don't feel like the love is there. And so I'm just thankful that you and others have expressed that you get that when we connect. And I'm just so thankful because heart talk, I didn't know what God really wanted to do, but I just knew He wanted me to bring what I needed. I was going to Bible study, and I remember being in Bible study and the Bible coming to life to me. And I remember thinking, people would read the Bible and have a closer relationship with God if they knew that God is not all this religious stuff that we learn in church. So Heart Talk for me was really a space that allowed me to share more of the thoughts that I had with others. Like I was on this healing journey working with my mama, getting over the abandonment and rejection with my mom and my dad, and dealing with being a teenage mom and going through the things that I went through in the way that I grew up. And so Hard Talk really it opened the door, and it showed me a lot more about me than I thought about me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just curious from you. I know that we did Hard Talk on the conference call for years, and we stopped that about 2.5 years ago as far as doing Heart Talk on the conference call. And I'll still do lives and I do Heart Talks in person. But for you, when you started Heart Talk, what did it do for you? What were you like? How did it help you, or what kind of resource was it for you in your life?
For me, Heart Talk was, again, back when I first got on Heart Talk with you. Um, I was going to church always, serving, doing different stuff at the church, and even hosting Bible studies, different stuff like that. But still, with you, it was more intimate. It was more very honest. You know what I'm saying? Despite like, okay, what you doing in life, with everything, you even think I'm doing so bad. Oh, I'm doing this. If I break it down, I can explain it, and it was still um, grace, showing understanding. Like, hey, there's no perfection. You still have to work through these things daily, as long as you're a human. If these things you struggle with, if this is whatever sin or whatever words you want to use for it, Heart Talk help just be able to slow down, be able to listen, even if I wasn't interacting, like saying anything, I'm able to actually hear something that resonated, something that made sense to me. Not just able to read the scripture or somebody give it to me where I didn't really understand it. It's like, oh, you doing this, you doing that, but okay, this is how this relates to scripture. This is how it relates to your life as a woman. It's not meaning you just a horrible person or everything. Even though you might do horrible things, consider yourself a horrible person in a lot of areas. It was able to help me see a light still in myself versus all darkness. Oh, this so bad, this so bad, this so bad. Everything rang up as bad, 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 bad. You always just say, it's not all bad. Even if you identifying yourself as, so many things bad, like you still got some good in there, but you got to really work towards dealing with yourself. You used to always talk about me having like defense mechanisms, those barriers around where I don't want to be around this person, I ain't gonna be around this person, I ain't gonna do this, I ain't gonna do that. And it's like, no, those just defense mechanisms, because of course you want to be around your siblings, of course you want to be around your family and different friends and different stuff like that. But I used to think pushing them away was not even pushing them away. I just think being in my own bubble was, that's fine. Let me not let people get so close to me. And that just helped me understand like my human side. Heart Talk really helped me understand like you a human, and you, no matter what you go through, you still gotta deal with other humans in life. You can't just be off on the island by yourself and not interact with other people and be good to other people and not always be mad at somebody, angry. So that definitely is one of the few ways that it helped me and still continuously helps me.
What that's really good. I think that's a great point, because I think a lot of us think we bad, right? Like
Mhm.
I could coach you through that because I went through that. I still work through that. I always have to remind myself, like, you all right? You okay?
Right.
Like, because those voices, we've been conditioned to think a certain way and to act a certain way. And you and I will have conversations a lot about just life and how we think and how people do things or whatever. But I really believe, like, this season that we're in, like, we really have to be very intentional about the work and the hard work. So, like, we were
Hard.
talking earlier today. And you asked me a question, so I want you to ask me the question again, however you want to do it. But we were talking about, I think I brought up something about men, and you were asking me, what did you ask me about men? You remember?
We're asking like, how do we, how is like the healing? How is it always going to be like this? Or the part where I said, if you don't want to be with somebody or something, why don't you just leave and go do? Why don't you just leave? Like a lot of people be like, oh, I can go be with somebody else and this will be fine. I'm gonna be good. But then when the time comes, you don't go do it. Like we don't do it. We'll say that and talk that trash and do those things, and then don't leave the, not even just relationships, friendships, anything, jobs, whatever. Like why not, what I'm saying? What helps heal those different things?
Yeah, yeah. No, I think that's a great question. I think that's a good question, thinking about starting off the first month of September. As you know, this is the last month of the third quarter. We'll be going into Q4 for the business people. But just for anyone, we are rounding off this year already. It's almost crazy that we're saying that. It's like I'm trying to think back to January, February, March, April, May, because it's like, where did the time go? And I think you, I, and a lot of people listening are wondering about that. Like, what do I do? And what I will say is that you have to establish boundaries in your life. When you're deciding that you're going to make a change and you're going to do something different, you're going to have to establish boundaries. Now, a boundary is not a wall, right? Like typically you don't ride down a neighborhood street and see walls dividing people's homes. You typically see a fence, a gate, and sometimes nothing. Sometimes the yards just kind of run together because the neighbors don't have an issue with crossing the boundaries that's making one side more, that's making a side uncomfortable or not. So why, in my opinion, do many people stay in like these dysfunctional relationships, or why you keep going back and forth? I could be with somebody better, than why don't you? It's because you don't really believe that. One, it's a lot of different things. I think, like me, I've been married for 11 years. And so we have been through some things. We have been through some ups and downs. We've had our times where I'm like, I'm done. I got to get out of here. I can't do this no more. You're gonna have to find somebody else to do this with. I'm not that chick. I ain't signed up for this. But the reason why I'm still married even after making those statements is because those situations that I was in were forcing me to have to deal with feelings and emotions that I didn't want to deal with at that time. Maybe rather I feel like Kevin was right or wrong, or I did. At the end of the day, I didn't want to deal with it. So my defense mechanism is a lot of times to leave. It is very easy for this sister to leave, to move, to walk out, to cut you off. I will block you. Okay? I know how to set some boundaries. All right?
Everybody, nobody.
You know, girl, ask my mama, ask my daddy, ask my children. Ain't nobody safe because I got to be safe. And that's the piece that I had to learn. But there was a time, the reason why I created, well, the reason why I teach the divine heart transplant, the reason why we have the heart cubator, the coaching program you've done and we've done with others, is because of those steps that I found myself in. And what happens when we find ourselves in those relationships are, we find ourselves in a situation where we have to do something different. And typically, we don't want to do something different. We want the other person to do something different. We don't necessarily want to do something different. We want the other person to do something different. And then what happens is when that other person doesn't do something different, we want to cut them off. We want to say, I'm done with you. I don't want this anymore. But the truth of the matter is, it's not so much that you want to leave that person or you don't want to be with that person. You really want to have more control over the situation that's at hand. You really want to have more control over the situation that's at hand. And when you can't have control over that situation, there's typically a problem. Now, if you're in a relationship with somebody that has an expectation of you that is no longer who and what you want to be, then you have to start to establish boundaries where you want to be now. And I think what a lot of us do, because I know I did this, and I know like I've been in those toxic relationships where it's just like a bunch of back and forth. You cheat on me, I'ma cheat on you. You come in the house late, I'ma come in the house late. You not watching the kids for me to go with my friends. Now I'ma get out, and when I know you want to go someplace, I'ma leave them with you, and you got to deal with that. Like I've been there, done that. Like wrote a book literally, and like I seriously, I get all of that, but I also know that we participated in those behaviors because we didn't know anything different. We saw the people ahead of us do that. We saw people older than us do that. We saw people who we looked up to were living in these toxic lifestyles. So one of the biggest things about Heart Talk for me was like a coming out. It's like I'm coming out of all this toxic stuff. Like I'm coming out of that's the way grandma did it, and that's the way granddaddy did it, and that's the way we do it because we black, or that's the way I do it because I'm a woman. Because no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't care if other black women do that. I don't want to do that. My primary identification ain't being black. I'm a human. You get what I'm saying? But we have to, and I think a lot of times in relationships, we start like thinking about putting that person in place, not even realizing that the thought of trying to get that person in place going to show you three other things you need to work on personally before you even start addressing your boundaries with them.
A lot of times it is like it is it be it's us a lot of times. Like you can push and say other people, the other person, in whatever relationship it can be. But a lot of times you do have to look at yourself. You gotta look. Not a lot of times, all the time. I had to learn that. It took a long time, and I still be looking like, no, it was them. I was rightfully so doing that, But then it's like, no, you was not. That was wrong. You should not have said that or did that. It's like, no, but I should have did that. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like,
Yes.
even if you should have, you shouldn't have, because you do know better in a lot of situations and stuff. But sometimes it's like you don't want to do better. You don't want to. Sometimes the toxic feel good. The toxic is good. It's normal and it's fine. It's okay. You gonna go there? I'm gonna go there too. You want
I'll
to
go
jump?
there with
I'm
you.
gonna jump higher. But
How
then it
high?
comes to a point that at some point, like you talk about the glass shattering. That's one of my favorite things that you talk about is glass shattering, and you can't control the shatter. Like you can't you just can't do certain things, man. After a while, you just can't do certain things. You can't. You gotta let it shatter how it's gonna shatter, or you gonna cut yourself. Like you always say, you gonna cut yourself if you don't. If you try to control everything, if it's like okay, even the best of stuff, it's like no, I got a handle on this. I got a handle on this. And like you talk about, um, I can think I got a handle on it, but my body telling me I don't. My heart beating fast like I'm getting chased by a dog, telling me I'm not. Me can't sleep for a certain reason, telling me I'm not. You know what I'm saying? So it's like this sound good, this look good, and this even feel good, but something else telling me no. I'm trying to control. I'm trying to control something that that can't be controlled. Because at the end of
Yes.
the day, when you're a believer in whatever, whatever you believe in, you can't. If you believe in anything, any higher power than yourself, you don't control it. You know what I'm saying? And that control I used to always think and still do a lot of times. Oh, I can control that. I'm in charge of the situation. I got this. I can figure this out, and I'm gonna make it end how I want it to end. And it's like still no, that still don't work because it's still God still throw a loop in it, and it's like to remind you you ain't the big dog like you think you is. Like
No.
you can't control this. Like whatever you think it is, I'm gonna shift it so you can understand. You don't trump me.
No.
God got the big
No.
joker every single time. He got the big
Every
joker.
time.
No matter
Every
how
time.
good you think you in spades and stuff like that, he got the big joker every time. And a lot of times in life, I don't felt like No, I got the winning hand, and I'm gonna win, and I'm gonna figure this out. I'm gonna figure it out. And it's like, no, you so nice, and you think you so smart, and you don't got
Yeah,
it out.
you
You just
don't have it figured
so
out.
you smart, but you ain't that smart. Like you so smart till you slow. You know what I'm saying? Because you really think you God in your own life, and that ain't that's just not okay.
Yeah,
Not that it's not okay. It's just not an honest assumption that I could think that, But
yeah,
when I watch and see and pay attention, it's like, no, you might say you don't think that, but how you lining stuff up, you really believe that. You really
yes.
believe you controlling
Your
your.
actions. You saying you don't, but your actions are showing that you do. Yeah,
Yeah, it does. So understanding the heart tribe, the heart talk, everything, it just help you come on back down to reality. It bring you outside of that arrogance, that you can be prideful in things about yourself or confident and stuff, but it bring you back. You always bring it back to scripture. Like you got to stay humble in things. Humble don't mean not having boundaries. Humble
mm,
don't mean being around people you don't want to be around. Humble don't mean all those things, but humble mean you got to slow it down and listen and take heed to some stuff that you need to take heed to. That's
yeah.
what for me. That's what it means for me.
That's so good. Because honestly, hey Bravely. Hi Bravely. But now he gonna act shy. He gonna
Right.
turn
This
red.
big head
But
baby here on
look at
live.
him know I'm talking to him. Um I think that that's important because as a heart coach, and a heart coach is a form of coaching, life coaching that God has given to me, where I implement the divine heart transplant process into coaching with my clients. And I feel like most, um, one of the one of the most powerful things about the divine heart transplant process, doing heart work, is the fact that you realize that you gain so much more control by releasing control. You gain so much more control by learning to relinquish what you think is control and actually open up your heart and mind to actually have control over your life. A lot of times we are being very limited in our thinking and our ways of being, and it shows up in how we deal with other people. We need certain people to act a certain way. When we say things to them, we want them to respond a certain way. How many times have you been in a relationship or talking to your significant other, your parent, your child, and you wanted to share something with them because you were looking for them to give you a specific response? And then when you didn't get that specific response back, now you're upset with them. Now you're frustrated with them. But that was you being manipulative and controlling. Like you could give me the information and then I respond in a way that's authentic to me. That might not be what you want to hear. But when we want to be in control, we want to villainize people. Well, how could you say that? Why do you feel that way? I feel how I feel. It isn't necessarily bad or good. It is what it is. And if that's not serving you, then we need to get you to another thought and another feeling. But we're never going to get there if we don't acknowledge where you are now. And I think the biggest thing I had to learn in doing the hard work was so many of us are broken in a sense of our perspective of how we see ourselves as being whole is very distorted. Even when I've come into contact with so many people who don't even have an image of what it would look like for them to be whole because they've been broken for so long. Just the whole thought of I can live a whole life where I can like who I see in the mirror and feel good about what I do every day and be in love with the community that I'm around. For some people, that doesn't even seem like that can happen. But that's what hard work would do, like what you were talking about, not controlling the shatter, being honest with people. But a part of being honest with people is understanding that everybody is not going to receive your honesty the way you give it off. And you're going to have to give people time to process. And back to boundaries, sometimes in us being honest, we have to be honest and say, as much as I love you, as much as I want to be around you, I can't. I have to abstain from you. I have to fast from you. I cannot be around you and be the best version of myself. Sometimes we got to tell ourselves the truth. Some of us like to think, especially women, we like to think we can save everybody. We like to see potential in men and think we can fix him. We be like, oh, he fine, or he got a good job, or he know how to do what he know how to do. So I can deal with everything else. No, you can't. You think you could deal with it till he beating your behind, and now it's a problem. It is a problem. Or he tiptoeing in your child room at night, it's a problem. And this is something that we have to deal with. But when we don't want to establish boundaries and maintain them, we find ourselves bumping up against these things. Like, I'm going to give you an example. I had a situation happen with someone that's very dear to me. And we've been kind of going back and forth. And so earlier in, I'll say about 3 or 4 years, let's say when the pandemic first hit, this particular person, a family member of mine, would come at me with certain things, and I would not respond always in a very heart coach like manner. Okay. I responded more like somebody that needed the heart coach. But I always give the disclaimer, I am actively always working on myself. And I give everybody have to understand we're not going to be perfect. Like, in order for us to be whole, we have to be real and we have to be authentic. That's how I define wholeness. I don't define wholeness as getting it right, because what you consider right now may be different when you gain a deeper understanding of the truth, especially somebody like me who studies. God will always give you a deeper revelation and a deeper understanding. But this particular person knew how to get me to tick. So they, like, boundaries, I would get to the point where I'm like telling them off, like, not using inside voices anymore, like the teachers would say. But I just had a situation happen with the same person, and we were getting along fine. Everything was good. And this person just sent me a text out of the blue and was like, I can't mess with you. You did me wrong. I'm cutting you off. I can't do this. What type of person you supposed to be? You're not supposed to be doing this type of stuff. And I just didn't say anything. I just said, okay, you can't talk to me? Okay. You can't be around me? Okay. Now, did I like what that person was saying? No. Did it hurt that I was being accused of something that I didn't do? No. However, what happened was I found myself in a situation where I was being more real with me. I had established boundaries with this person 3 years ago because I don't want to argue with them. I don't want to have toxic conversations. This is somebody that I love a lot and we have a history. So there are a lot of unresolved issues that we're still working through. I'm clear on that. So I also know that when I interact with this person, it may get really testy. I might struggle with using my inside voice because I'm getting emotionally involved in it, because this person and I have unresolved issues that we're working through. And so that particular instance when I felt like it was almost like an attack. Like, I'm not dealing with you. I can't mess with you no more. I just had to stop and ask myself, and I just had to say, like, is it worth it? No. Do I want to be upset? No. Do I want to argue with this person? No. Okay. So I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to leave it alone. I'm not going to respond to you. I'm not going to say anything. And if you continue to text me inappropriately, I'm going to block you. And I'm not blocking you forever. I'm going to block you until you realize that you cannot talk to me like that, even if it's via text message. And that's what I'm saying to y'all. After doing 9 years of heart talk, I'm telling you, you got to get used to setting boundaries and keeping boundaries. You're going to have to get used to challenging what you think about yourself, what you believe about yourself, and the people and the circumstances around you. You're going to have to get really good about humbling yourself. You're going to have to see that um, there's so much more to life than what you're living. And you have to be open to the stretching that's going to happen when you do that. Like, there is seriously so much out there for you, but you got to do your work. Like, I know you telling everybody you okay. I know you probably that go-to person in your family. Everybody comes to you for advice, but where do you go? Have you been consistently going to therapy? Do you have a life coach? Do you have somebody that you're working with to help you iron out the wrinkles and the kinks in your life? Like, I'm sick of people saying that they're okay, and then when I talk to them, they're contemplating suicide, or they're finding out they have all these health issues and they have all these other things going on because they're not telling themselves the truth. And one of the biggest things about Heart Talk, as I talk with throughout the month, I'm gonna do my best to get some of the original Heart Talk members to come on with me so we could talk a little bit about it and about bringing it back. How and I have in a way with the Heartline podcast, but Heart Talk really was special. But one of the things, it is special, and one of the things that I love about Heart Talk is when I started Heart Talk, I didn't have all the answers. I didn't know, like, oh, do this and do that. I didn't even have this 6-step process like in place. When I started Heart Talk, it was really um just me trusting God and just doing what he told me to do. And with that being said, now that I am where I am and I'm doing what I'm doing, I still feel that way. Like, I know I can help people. I know these steps work, and I don't have all the answers. And you catch me on the wrong day, you might have to set a boundary. Let's just be real. But trust me, I ain't gonna try to cross your boundary. Once I'm done, I'm done. And that's a problem. That's a boundary I'm trying to work to lift up, because that's a defense mechanism I've had to cut people off. I just cut them off. But then the other side is, some people feel like I've cut them off and I haven't. I'm also one of those people where when we're here, we're here. And when we're not, we're not. And it's nothing personal, but I just try to stay really present. And see, when you start to heal, you don't live in the past and you don't live in the future. You stay in the present, because that's where all the miracles happen. That's where God can communicate with you. But when I started doing Heart Talk, I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew I needed relief. I knew my mama was driving me crazy. I knew that my marriage felt like it was too rocky. I had a budding teenage daughter, and I was watching me and her go down the same path my mom and I went down, and I did not know what to do, and I just was crying out to God. And to what Karma said, my life felt like it was shattering, and I stopped trying to control the shatter, because it hurts. It really hurts when a glass is breaking and you're trying to stop it. Typically, I'll just hit the wall or hit the back of it. Just let everything fall, or try to keep that in place and just toss that in the trash. But too many of us it's already shattered and we just trying to grab at fallen, broken glass. It's real.
It is, and it's like almost like having you used to GPS so much. Like back in the day, I remember with MapQuest and stuff, I had my sense of direction was way better because I relied on my brain. Like, okay, I know I got to take this exit, go down, pass this, do this. But now with a GPS, it's like, okay, I know I'm gonna follow and listen to this. But it's like when you're not trying to control the shadow no more, it's like where I'm going. Like I know where I want to go, but I don't even know how to get there. Like, but I wanna turn left, but I can't turn left no more. Like, I wanna go there. I wanna do this stuff. I want to do it. Trust me, I wanna do it. I wanna go over there. I wanna, you know what I'm saying? Be around these people. I wanna do certain things, but it's like the GPS ain't, I can't, it's like I can't even go that way. Like, but I want to go that way. Like I don't want to be so what you consider so good, so this, so that, but
That's
it's like
it.
when something is almost like a magnet or something pulling you, like you gotta go. Like why I gotta go that way? You know what I'm saying? Why I can't just go this way? It's like
Yeah.
no, you can't, like you can't. And it's like, why? I want to control it because when I can control it, I never was controlling it, but I thought I was controlling it. when I was controlling, I said I'm gonna turn left and go right and go, ooh, and look where I'm at. I'm at where I wanted to go. Now it's like, okay, now you don't have those edit rights. You can't control this, you know.
No, no,
So
this is a just like a Tesla, just like a self-driving vehicle. It's almost like when you tap in and you say, "Hey, this is what I'm doing," and you say, "This is how I'm going to do it." When you really start to tap in, you realize like you don't have control over that. You don't have any control over that. You're not like you really don't like I really look at Bravely. You can't control Bravely. You could train him, but you can't control it. I would never forget when somebody said, you don't have control over anyone but yourself. And a lot of my clients, when we first start working together, that is like so frustrating for them. And I'm like, you really don't have no control over that person. What are you going to do about it? How are you going to handle the situation? What are you going to do differently? And it's empowering once you can embrace it, but it's very disempowering for someone who's the victim, for someone who's always been mistreated or done wrong or rejected or abandoned, because I want to hold somebody else accountable for this pain I'm having. But the truth of the matter is, I got to hold myself accountable.
and it's not easy, that hard work, and for everybody who you make it, to me sometimes you make a lot of stuff look easy, from the outside looking in. If I didn't know you behind the scenes, it looked easy. Coach always smiling, you know what I'm saying? It looked easy, you know what I'm saying? Till you start really doing the work. And I remember when I started working with you a long, long, long time ago, I used to cry every single day. Like, this is too much. Like, this is too much to go inside of me and deal with this stuff. Like, I don't, okay, I'm not gonna do this. Just
Yeah,
I ain't gonna do this. Like,
yeah,
I don't want to cry every day because this is too much,
yeah,
and not crying out of sadness. Just, this is too hard. This is too much. Like, this is way out of my league. Like, I can do a lot of things in life, but dealing with self is the hardest. The hardest task. The hardest. I've been in the military. Being that ain't nothing compared to no hard work and dealing with myself. And it's like, it ain't easy. It can feel fine at some points, but it's not a easy task itself that just get checked off, you know. And then sometimes you think it's checked off and you got to reroute back to it. Like, sometimes it's like, I ain't got time to do all this, you know, but
yeah,
it's worth it. I would say it is worth it, but
yeah,
it's not on that easy level. It's not something that you consider easy when you dealing with self, you know. So I appreciate you being able to walk through the steps. I watch you walk through the steps with me and with other people, and it's I commend you for walking through your own steps all the time to help other people deal with themselves. Because if you don't deal with yourself, I always say it like this, like you like Professor X, you know, Professor
yeah,
Xavier, all X-Men, you know,
yeah,
you had to have some type of elite powers and all kind of stuff like that to be able to calm down, Cyclops. You can't do this. Okay,
yes,
Storm,
yes,
control this. And then they listen. When you feel like you
yeah,
got superpowers, you don't feel like you want to listen to nobody because you already
no,
can. Cyclops could just burn somebody up. Storm could just do whatever
right.
she want, and but he was able to, hey, and they listen. So you like that to a lot of people, and you constantly doing your work, help push the train along, and it's appreciated. Not no perfection. Now talk about that, coach, a little bit. Like,
Yeah, no, it's not. And
perfectionism is not, it's not
mm-mm.
that. You might hear me saying some stuff, you might see me doing some stuff. It ain't perfectionism, but to strive to a certain thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna try my best. Yes, I'm gonna do my best. And I think I feel like a lot of people, if you listening to us now or later, you might feel like every time I try to do good, then bad always happen. And my answer to you with that is bad is always going to happen. But you just have to also look at what you defining as bad. And when we talk about the steps, and I said earlier on the live that I did, y'all go check that out. I talked about with the 30 days, I'm a be going live, and since it's 6 steps, I'm gonna do like, what is it, 5 days of talks about each step. So just to do a quick rundown, the 6 steps are connection, awareness, acceptance, forgiveness, decision, and take action. So there's 6 steps. And so the first step is to get connected. And I used this example this morning because like you have these cords like this, right? And like if I want to hook this little light up, I need to have it connected to something. This light works. You work. Whatever it is you want to do, whatever your dreams are, you work. But are you connected? That's the question. Are you connected? And so when you talk about making a connection, it don't always have to be perfect. Think about how many times your charger port might have had some dust or some dirt and your phone's still charging, right? But you got to make that connection so that even got to make that connection to see if there's a problem with the connection. You have to bring the two together. And so when we think about this idea of perfection. Well, let's just call a thing. Many of us want to be perfect because we think that if we're perfect, it's going to protect us from rejection. We think it's going to protect us from abandonment. We think it's going to protect us from being criticized or scrutinized for messing up. We always want to get it right because of the pain we felt when people let us know how wrong we were in the past. So that's anybody that's needing it to be perfect, that's already a sign that there's some work you need to do because you have not embraced the fact that it's not going to be perfect. You just got to do what you can do, but you got to get connected. And see, a lot of people, when I say God and talk about the Bible, these things are charged differently depending on what your experiences are. Now, for me, I learn and grow. Most of my teaching comes from the Bible. Most of what I teach is going to teach from the Bible. You don't have to believe. You don't have to believe in Christ and none of that. I don't tell you you got to go away. I still want you to get what I'm teaching. But this is where I get it from. And I understand that the only thing perfect, the way my faith is set up, is in Christ. He's the only one. All the rest of us going to fall short. So, with that being said, how can I be the best version of myself, embracing the perfection of my imperfection? You know how you go to the store and like, I'm old enough to remember when they did not sell ripped jeans in the store. Like you could not buy ripped jeans, acid wash jeans. You had to do that stuff yourself. They sold real jeans or dungaroos. That's really taking it back. But you couldn't do that. But now when you go in a lot of the designer shops that sell ripped jeans, they a lot of times will have the holiest jeans, the most bleached jeans, and they'll almost always have a tag that says this is like made to this was intentionally made to imperfection. The purpose of this was to be put out just like that. And that's how I feel about us. You're not perfect. Your testimony is it's proof that you're not perfect. But your testimony, what you've been through, your message is a product of the mess that you went through. Those things bring about perfection. Those things bring about whole living. But if you can't embrace what you've been through, then you're going to always be chasing your tail trying to be perfect. And we see how crazy a dog look chasing his tail. But that's really what we do. I got to get this right. I don't want to mess that up. What you're really saying, I don't want to be rejected. I don't want to be embarrassed again. I don't want to be down again. Let's deal with that. Who hurt you? Who embarrassed you? What happened in kindergarten when you said the wrong word and the teacher embarrassed you and you never dealt with that and now nobody can say nothing around you without you flipping out and cursing everybody? Because of something that happened 45 years ago, you 50 years old. This happened in first grade. But everybody, you have been divorced. Your kids don't talk to you because the teacher broke your heart, because your mama wasn't loving and affectionate. You do need to confront your mama. Now she older. Now she wants you to take care of her and treat her like she was the best mama in the world, knowing good and well she didn't give you what you wanted. Let's talk about it. You do need to be honest. You do need to tell her how you feel. And you still need to look out for your mom as much as you can. And if she toxic, you need to set some boundaries with your mama. Because I've had to do that.
Yeah. And if we toxic, people need, you gotta set boundaries with everybody. If I'm toxic, you gotta set boundaries with me. Like I'm a believer in that too. Like if you're triggered around me, if you're triggered around whoever the person, I'm big on no matter what that title is, what that, don't let the title fool you. Wife, husband, friend, family, co-worker, manager, kids, anything. The title will
Pastor,
sometimes pastor,
mother,
anybody,
the church.
whoever the person is. You know what I'm saying? The title sometimes confuse me or confuse people. Like, okay, is this title? So no, I shouldn't have boundaries. It should just be a free for all. Where no, it
Mm-mm.
shouldn't be no free for all. If around me you triggered and these things come up, like you shouldn't be around me. You shouldn't interact with me. You know what I'm saying? You should deal with
Or
that
deal with,
or
or
deal with.
let's ask the questions. Why am I being triggered? That's where
Yeah.
awareness comes in.
Hmm.
That why am I being triggered? Like,
Yeah.
what's happening here? What is it about this person that is reminding me? Like, that's how, like, one of the what it was crazy, and I don't know why this came up, but it is what it is. When I first started in business, I was talking with this coach, and I was struggling with um feeling like I wasn't clear, and just feeling like my business wasn't doing good. Now when I look back, I was doing really good, but I wasn't getting the validation, and I wasn't getting the responses. Like, the money wasn't coming in that I needed at the time. Things were really hard on me financially, and so I had these expectations of this business to like fix everything in my life, but really God sent the business to fix me. And so I kept being triggered, couldn't make money, a break over a certain thing. And one day I was in a coaching session, and the lady was like, "Were you ever touched inappropriately?" And I was like, "No," because up until that point, that was my answer. I was saying I was such a blessed young lady to go through the things that I've been through in life and not be violated like that. But that wasn't the truth. The truth was I had been through inappropriate touch and things like that. However, I made myself forget, and my body didn't forget. So anything that reminded me of that uncertainty was triggering me. And when she brought it up, it felt like I could have like disappeared. I really could have just like poof, I'm gone. Like look, it was almost like what? Because it tore down a part of the identity that I thought, like I thought this impenetrable thing about myself. It was something I made myself believe, and it wasn't true. And that's another thing I've learned with working with people when I'm coaching, and just talking with people. People don't always tell the truth, and it's not because they're trying to lie. Sometimes this is what they have told themselves, and they've just convinced themselves. They've said it so much that they believe it intellectually, but your body will never lie to you. Your body will always tell you if you're in integrity with what's going on around you. And that particular day, when she said that, I had to get integrity with my mind, had to get integrity with my heart, because my mind had made me forget because I was 5, 6, 7 years old. It was traumatic. I knew it was wrong. I knew I felt like I had a place in it. I felt like I was just as guilty. I liked how it felt or the attention that I got. I didn't, I was 5. I'm 6. You know what I'm saying? But how many people have this story? How many people are in abusive relationships right now, overworking themselves right now in their career because they're trying to cover up something they don't even know they're covering up? And I know some people be like, That don't have nothing to do with perfection. What Karma talking about, it got everything to do with perfection, because that's why we start putting on those masks. That's what will make us start to try to control the shatter, because we remember the pain of getting cut before, and the way people treated us when they saw the blood. So what we try to do, prevent it, and what happened, we make more of a problem. So
That's good, Coach. That's what it makes me think of. You said it, and one of my homeboys have said it many times. Like that, you're one person. This other side of me, or I'm this person, or I'm that person. As far as forgetting different things, but no, comma. That's all you. Like y'all used to say that. So you used to tell me that enough. But then once he said it, I used to be like, no. Like when I go out and do this one comma, and when I'm here, this comma, and this that. Like no, bipolar sister. No, you. All this is one person.
that's
Like
just
no,
you. That's
this
just
is
you.
you. And it took for him to say that to be like, no, all that is you. Like that's still who. Like you're one person. Like you ain't gotta compartmentalize like yourself. Like you got to be able to accept. He want to be in the show. You
Come
don't
on,
have
let
to.
him in.
You don't have to compartmentalize yourself. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
you don't have to compartmentalize yourself and make yourself think. Okay, when I'm over there, I'm gonna do this. That's not saying to me. You know you got to turn stuff on and off. No, you don't do everything in front of everybody. You know what I'm saying? But
Yes. Yes.
you
That's
you
not the same.
that's
Yeah.
not the same thing. But you're still your own your
You
one
gotta be
self.
you, right?
Yeah.
Like, for example, I really try my best not to code switch anymore. It's very ingrained in me and many other people. And when I say code switch, I mean when I find myself in environments where it's majority white or majority quote unquote professional, which is typically more white people around me. My voice tone, I don't, my geechiness may go away. I might not talk as geeky as I'm talking, and it's no slight to anyone. It's more so um what I was taught directly or indirectly growing up. It's an issue in the black community that has been talked about a lot. But one of the things that I've noticed since I've been doing more hard work and really working on myself is like I don't have to turn off who I am. I am who I am. Like Adelaide is a realtor. Adelaide is a heart coach. Adelaide is a mother. Adelaide is a wife. Adelaide likes to dance. Adelaide likes to hang out and have a good time. Adelaide likes to play pickleball. This is all the same person. This is not a different individual. And I used to think that in every one of those titles, I needed to show up a certain way. And what I want to say as we get ready to close today, and I want to shout out Kama, thank you so much for coming on today and spending this time with me, is that you are who you are wherever you show up. Now, you have work to do to make sure that you show up in a way that's authentic for you and you feel good about yourself. I'm not talking about putting on. I'm not talking about trying to cover up. I'm talking about being your authentic self. If you mess up the word, if you don't get it right, trust me, there are people that will love you and care for you no matter what. What I'm saying is you need to do your hard work. It's time for you to build some heart equity. And if you don't know where to start, I invite you join the tribe, subscribe to the channel, check out the videos. I have tons of heart talk videos. I have over 400 videos on this channel. Many of those videos are specific heart talk live sessions that I was doing, so you can get some of that content. And every Monday at 12 we have a live podcast, the Heartline podcast with Adelaide Brown. We're just really committed to doing the work. This month we're going to have a live event. I will be sharing more information about that so that you all can register and pull up so we can all build heart equity together. But I just wanted to get on live today with a member of the Heart Tribe because I'm so excited. It's been 9 years and I'm expecting God to birth something new and powerful and amazing out of this program. And I'm inviting you on. I'm calling all men, all women, all heart equity builders. If you know you want to build personal, relational, and financial wealth through authentic living, then this is the place for you to be. Come on, let's have some heart coach talk. Let's grow together. Let's love one another. Let's build heart equity. Because remember this, when you master your heart, you'll master your life. I love y'all. This is Adelai Brown, your heart coach, signing out. We'll be back soon. I'll see y'all tomorrow.